everyone, my name is Dave, and welcome to the very first edition of the Markout Moment. Today I am joined with...
Joe Winchell.
And Jason Ibsen.
And how you guys doing? We're going to be discussing Wrestlemania 28. It's Wrestlemania season.
Yes, it is.
The three of us are very excited.
Very.
So let's run down the card. We got Kelly and Maria Menounos versus Beth Phoenix and Eve. We got Team Teddy, which consists of Santino Marella, R-Truth, Coffee King, Sting, Zack Ryder, The Great Khali, Booker T versus Team Johnny, which is David Otunga, Mark Henry, Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger, The Miz, and Drew McIntyre. After that, we got Randy Orton versus Kane.
Masked Kane.
Masked Kane, yeah. Then for the Intercontinental Championship, we got Cody Rhodes defending against The Big Show. For the World Championship, we got Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus. And for the WWE Championship, we got CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. After that, we got the Hell in a Cell match, Triple H versus The Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee. And then finally, the main event, The Rock versus John Cena. It's exciting.
It's funny. LC, yeah.
It's era versus era.
So I guess we should start at the top with this?
I guess we'll start, we'll start at the least exciting match.
Which is always the Divas match.
And we'll just...
Boner inspiring, but...
Okay.
Is it really?
Is it?
Are you a Beth Phoenix fan?
No.
Maria Menounos.
Well,
I'll give you even Kelly, but
yeah, I don't know.
Nothing inspires anything from Beth Phoenix.
Beth Phoenix is going to break it in half.
No.
Alright, so, I mean, Kelly, Maria Menounos versus Beth Phoenix and Eve.
Well, this is...
Who do you think? I mean...
Well, I just want to say, that right off the bat, this is the match where they're throwing the celebrity right away.
Right.
So, I'm going to go with... I'm right off the bat, I'm just going to say it's going to be Kelly, Maria Menounos.
Yeah.
Win, because last year the thing was Snooki.
Right.
Come on.
And she totally destroyed everyone, Snooki, and come on.
She didn't destroy everybody, she did a backflip.
Well, the thing is, Maria Menounos right now is on Dancing with the Stars,
yeah.
and she actually broke 3 ribs or something like that.
Right.
So who knows how
involved, but Snooki did one move.
Yeah, that's true.
And
well, she did that backflip.
Yeah.
She did that backflip elbow combination. That was pretty impressive.
She was pretty
people
fat
going
back
crazy.
Then, so it was more relevant than it is now.
Okay. So I think we all agree Kelly, Maria.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, Beth Phoenix is a beast. We all know that. And, you know, as far as damage, putting out the damage, absolutely.
I'm not going to call her a beast. She's like China's inconsistent clone.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, she is. That's what she's a China clone, is what she is, essentially.
All right, so then what about the next match? Team Teddy versus Team Johnny. The winning team, it's either going to be...
I think it's going to be Team Teddy.
I'm going
Teddy?
to go with Team Teddy, too. I mean... this is the Survivor Series matchups type matchups like this. You can usually tell by the team, and the way that they've kind of built this up, which has actually been the build-up for this has actually been pretty good. I think this is a match everybody's.
Well, what's beautiful about it is you have heels and faces together on the same teams
as one.
Yeah. Well, you got R-Truth.
No, he's a face.
No, he's a face now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's faces versus heels.
All right then.
Yeah, it's because Santino's only R-Truth.
I guess we'll edit that
R-Truth had turned. He can.
We'll leave that.
Oh yeah.
When did he turn face? Like 2 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, he turned when he came back, and he attacked The Miz.
All right.
And you know, he coffee Zack Ryder.
Well, yeah, Team Johnny's definitely all heels.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. What do you think, Dave?
Well, you know, I mean, the winning general manager gets control of both Raw and SmackDown, and right now John Laurinaitis is the more fixated on character. I don't know if WWE has enough confidence in Teddy Long for there to be, you know, holla 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 on both shows and it to be entertaining.
Yeah. And I mean, to be
honest,
but
I'm not really that impressed with Laurinaitis.
He is a great heel, though.
He's a great heel.
He's a great heel. He's so easily. You ever watch this guy?
Right.
Yeah, no, I know.
He just.
I don't like him, so he's doing his job.
Exactly, but
now,
the thing about it is, he could carry. I think it's always been easier for a heel to be, you know, mass marketing. You have to really be a particular kind of babyface to be won over with fans, particularly, especially in this day and age with wrestling.
Well, what I was going to bring up is that if Teddy was going to win, there's one way that I would do it that I think would really work.
And what is that?
That would be I would turn The Miz face and have him turn on Team Johnny.
Miz hasn't been face in a long time.
Right, because The Miz has been complaining in recent weeks, you know, I haven't had a WrestleMania moment, I'm not booked, and now he's finally booked in a match.
And he hasn't been as...
in the way he's been, it's like not about championship.
He hasn't been the same
for
heel
really
he's
anything.
prior, like the days when it was him and who was his tag team partner? It was Johnny Nitro, right?
Yeah, Johnny Nitro.
I mean, that was the start of it.
He's always been about the gold. He always wanted to have the championship belt and whatnot. So now, like, he's put on this whole thing, and he probably doesn't mean much to him.
Right.
Yeah, but I also
even though like it's a huge deal.
Idea. I like Dave's idea if that happens.
So yeah, I mean, if I personally see Team Johnny walking away with the victory, but if they're gonna give it to Team Teddy, I'd use the opportunity to turn them his face.
Right.
Well, because that could help Theodore Long standing at that point, because then you have something to work off of.
Right.
And that'd be pretty cool, like to see Miz and R-Truth, because I think personally they were a pretty cool tag team.
Yeah.
But to see them as both faces,
well, R-Truth was just
to rekindle
insane.
that, I think that'd be pretty cool.
If I was turning them his face, I don't necessarily think I would handle him in a
tag team.
No, in like a good guy, black and white type.
Anti-hero, you going for then?
Yeah, I would go for more of the CM Punk
Austin route.
Well,
that would work for him because of his character that he has.
Right.
Especially, I mean, he did the egotistical, which everybody does that when you're here. You have the ego thing.
Right.
Now it's time. We've never actually seen him do that before, and we've seen like shades of it, particularly in this. When he did team with R-Truth, we saw a more kind of I don't want to say this. What is the word I'm looking for? Hard Knocks type of character that he had. It was a little more, sinister. So you could take that and then run it into a kind of an anti-hero.
I personally am looking forward to seeing Mark Henry and Khali go head to head, because that's a lot. That's the two big men in that ring.
Well, there's Mark Henry's someone that's been wild, really interesting the last few months. He lost the World Championship.
Yeah.
And,
yep.
Oh, Joe's eating his McDonald's. He lost the World Championship, and I don't know. WWE's sort of been jobbing him out lately.
He has, and it's funny because he came back with a pretty big resurgence, had some good matches, and now they're just.
He came back, and he was a big deal. Now
he came back, then his first match wasn't it against the Undertaker.
We keep talking about changing, from heel to face and whatnot. I would love to see Mark Henry as a face again.
Sexual chocolate?
I'm not saying sexual.
No, not again.
Listen, I'm not Joe. Joe, I'm not saying. Well, that was ridiculous, but I'm not saying sexual chocolate phase. Even though I think personally, that was his best era. Was the sexual chocolate? Everyone loved sexual chocolate. That was his best honestly, yes. Even with Nation of Domination, all that stuff, I think that was.
You know what his best era was, in my opinion, when he came back and he had that run against the Undertaker. That was the first time he was healing a long time, and he was so goddamn good at. They had a casket match. It was actually, you know how hard it is to sell a casket match.
That was good.
Somebody the last guy that did it was Yokozuna.
Right.
But he came back and he was a heel, and for my money, that was ridiculous. The sexual. I don't know.
I mean, look, man. I mean, the whole. But even when he was a heel, it was like, I'm a bad man. I mean, come on. It's
that was
like
Rikishi.
Was it really?
Rikishi. Who are you?
I don't know. I thought that was the same thing.
No, Rikishi.
Man, I'm just having a bad day today, apparently. Oh, I don't know. That's your opinion. I have my opinion, too. That's what's great about this.
The one person I do want to... The other person I want to point out in this match is Drew McIntyre, who was thrown in because Christian's ankle is still acting up, and they don't want to
it would have been Christian. We preferred Christian. It would have been better.
I feel like, with everything that's been going on with Drew McIntyre on SmackDown, where he's been saying, give me one more opportunity, and then he's been losing every match and getting fired and rehired every week and stuff like that. Do you think something's up where maybe, Drew can get attacked on the way to the ring so he never gets his WrestleMania moment?
That could happen.
That could, or we might actually see him shine for tonight, for Sunday.
I mean, the thing with Drew is first of all, I don't think they're going to give him that shine, maybe stand out, not shine. I wouldn't say shine just because he's not...
He might have some impressive moments.
I don't know. He had some... He's been doing a lot... He's been interesting on Raw, and
That's what's so good about this. There's so much that could happen with this match.
Here's something interesting. We got Santino, R-Truth, Kofi, Zack Ryder, The Great Khali, Booker T. Out of all those, who do you think is going to be the first person to get pinned?
It's going to be Santino.
Is it elimination?
Is it elimination? No, I don't think it's a Survivor Series. I think it's actually just straight tag.
Okay, never mind.
But let's just say it was. But let's say if it was.
That would be more interesting, I think.
Well,
It would eat up more time, but I think...
Well, I don't know. Team Teddy... Is there any way we can check on this?
I don't think it's elimination. Hold on.
I don't think it's elimination either.
No, it's not.
It's not elimination.
Yeah, it's just a 12-man tag team match.
Determined general manager.
So who do you think is going to make the pin? We'll just say that.
Well, I just want to say, if this were Survivor Series, as much as I hate to say it because I like him, for all the wrong reasons. Santino would definitely be the first person out.
Actually, Santino, I don't know if you saw it, when he won the U.S. title.
I did.
3 weeks ago. That crowd popped. And that crowd popped.
No, I love Santino.
Right. That crowd popped, though, not in a we hate Jack swagger way. They popped in a
we love Santino.
We love Santino.
Well, I think he's also fine. I just want to say this about Santino. I'm really happy that he's finally got, because he's finally getting
the recognition he deserves.
Not even recognition. He's just, his goofball stuff has been really funny. Don't get me wrong.
Well, what's great about him is you have a lot of characters who are hilarious, and they're pretty terrible. With Santino, he's a fantastic wrestler.
Well, I think Santino is, if you look at the independent circuit right now, a lot of wrestlers who have this natural
charisma,
quick-witted, sense of humor, the way that they're getting over is much in the same way of Santino, in that they're not taking themselves seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that that's interesting and a smart idea this day and age with pro wrestling.
Good.
Because it's pro wrestling, everybody knows it's scripted.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody knows it's predetermined.
But it's still entertaining.
It's still entertaining. So
it's still hard, too.
I mean, if Team Teddy wins, since it is just a normal tag team, I see Santino picking up the victory. Just because, everybody can do the trumpet celebration.
You're not going to say it'd be Zack Ryder. I think Zack Ryder would be one of the last ones on there, though.
Zack Ryder isn't. So maybe they'll give Ryder his
I think,
and then there's Booker T.
I think it'll go to Zack Ryder.
Yeah. Now, if Team Johnny wins, I see, out of all those, personally, I would make it Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
The pinfall.
No, it would be Dolph.
All right. So
is that all we have to say about this?
We spent a good 20 minutes on
well, just to backtrack, we studied this in detail for Team Teddy and the Team Johnny
one. A larger match.
We should probably come up with a prediction for the Kelly Beth Phoenix one.
We did. We did Kelly and Maria Menounos.
Yeah, but what would you like to see? What would happen? Is what
I want to see.
We didn't talk about that. Yes.
Well, what would I want to see quickly happen in the Kelly Maria match? If I was booking things, I'd have Kelly Maria win with a karma.
Interference.
Okay. Interference or distraction. And I know that Karma, she actually, I don't know if you guys know this, she lost her baby. She had a miscarriage.
Lost her baby?
Miscarriage.
Alright. See, I don't pay attention to
that stuff too much. I almost made a bad joke about her.
That was
misplacing her baby. But no, and she was, there's been a lot of talk about whether or not she's able to compete and all these things. So if she's not able to compete right now, she made the Royal Rumble appearance.
She did.
But that was just quickly to, eliminate Michael Cole and things like that. But, I think it would be interesting to have her basically do the same thing with Beth Phoenix and Eve. And, for the next few weeks on Raw or SmackDown, play her theme music. Sort of take like an Undertaker stalking route with her.
Yeah, which is very in that same vein.
Yeah, stalking Beth Phoenix, scaring her, things like that.
Well, to piggyback off what you said, that'd be cool, but I'd love to see Eve get hurt, kind of, and then Zack Ryder coming to her aid.
Yeah, you're big on Zack Ryder.
Dude, I love Zack Ryder, but I'm saying here's the thing, they've been playing that whole thing.
But that's not going to happen. I'm saying because he's in the next match right after that. Plausibly, it's not. I'm just from a standpoint, it's probably not going to happen. What Dave said is more likely to happen.
It might even be an opportunity for a Trish Stratus cameo.
Sure.
It's happened in the past. It's WrestleMania.
Right. Yeah.
Might happen. They did it before.
All right, Randy Orton, Kane.
This match, I
forgot this match existed.
Really?
I did. There's nothing. This match just screams, we have to get these two guys on the card.
I think it could be a good opportunity for Randy. I've been a big Kane fan.
When you have Kane go head to head with someone, there's always that undertone that the other person facing Kane is scared shitless.
Right.
What's cool about Randy Orton facing him is from what I've seen with Randy Orton for as long as I remember Randy Orton. He's not afraid of anyone. He'll go up to the biggest son of a bitch and he'll go after him and whatnot. And I don't think he's...
For the record, let's just point out it's third on the cards.
Is Kane... Well, we don't know if this is the order, but...
I don't think...
Is Kane still doing the embrace your hate thing that he was doing with Cena? Is he doing that with Orton now?
I'm not sure.
I don't even know either. I'm not
too sure.
I skimmed.
But that was good too, that whole thing with Cena.
Yeah.
Again, it's John Cena, but... Yeah. Again, I have a firm belief that Kane can have a match with just about anybody and make it...
I would love to see Randy Orton make Kane pay, embarrass the shit out of him.
I think Kane just came back. So do you want Kane to? come back as with the mask finally, and
yeah, what we've been waiting for so long.
Sure.
I just wanted him to have long hair and a beard, by the way.
Well, actually, something I just thought of. It was just announced that Randy Orton's going to be filming the Marine 3.
Oh God, really?
So, yeah,
well, hopefully he's a much better actor than John Cena.
But, you know,
promos or any indication of that.
This might be an opportunity to...
plug it?
No, to knock Randy out of the equation. So maybe have Kane
do some hurting on him, yeah.
I feel like this, I think a lot of people are underestimating this match. I think it's going to be a good match.
Well, we get to see classic Kane. You know what I mean? That's
not even classic. Kane's a good. Ever since Kane came in, I've been amazed by Kane just from the standpoint of he's technically an Undertaker clone. He is. He's an Undertaker clone, and they made him significantly different. You know, and I mean the best of their ability.
Right.
But they make a run. They make a run with it, and he's good. And he's a good wrestler. And I think he's one of the people that you can work with. Mm-hmm. So I think this match is going to be good. And I personally think that it's either going to go where Randy Orton's going to just barely pick up the victory over him, or he's going to get destroyed.
All right.
That's what I go with on that. But I think he's going to put up a fight.
I'd give it to...
It's got the making of a great match, though.
I will give it to... I'm going to say Kane.
You're going to say Kane?
I'm going to say Kane.
What about you?
I'm
a big Randy Orton fan.
What Dave is saying would be great by knocking him out of the equation. This way he'd do his movie, and, you know, it's a good excuse for it and whatnot. But I would love to see Randy Orton beat the hell out of him. But what I actually, you know, honestly think is going to happen, I think Kane's going to wreck him.
I think the ref's going to get knocked out, and there's going to be a lot of...
I'm going to say Randy Orton just to go against you.
Okay, all right. From what I want to see and what I think is going to happen, it's two different things from what I want to see and what I think is going to happen.
Well, this is a match I don't care about.
Yeah, well, okay, now we got...
the dashing one.
We got Cody Rhodes defending the IC title against the Big Show.
I mean...
Well, can we... you were talking about Randy Orton with the movie and whatnot. I just saw Cody Rhodes in that sci-fi TV show... 13th Warehouse or whatever.
Warehouse 13. It's a good show for the record.
Yeah, so just a...
Not that Cody Rhodes has anything to do with that.
Well, with this match, I mean, I really don't have that much to say about it. I think they're going to give it to Big Show.
I do too.
Because if Big Show wins it, Big Show has never held the IC title.
Yep. He's not. Is he in a babyface now? Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By default, I think.
Well, everybody hates Cody Rhodes. For my money, what I just want to say is Cody Rhodes. There's nothing. Out of all the next generation wrestlers that came out of, you know, the Ted DiBiase, Randy Orton. Randy Orton's, I think, the best out of the three, and I believe Cody Rhodes being the least impressive. He's failed to impress me.
Ted DiBiase. What has Ted DiBiase done?
He's $1 million son. I gotta go with that.
It's nothing.
All right, out of the two that are performing at this, like I don't know, I feel like Cody Rhodes gets the. I don't know.
Well, we could state.
I just feel like
nothing's been done.
We could state
the stuff that has been done with him has been substandard at best. At points when he had the mask thing, like, shut the fuck up.
That went on far too long.
It was stupid. It was
paper bags.
I'm an ugly man.
The paper bags was funny.
The paper bags was funny. I'll give you that.
We could state the obvious. Big Show is a lot bigger than Cody Rhodes, so he has that advantage.
This match is going to be might be
good observation. I know. Thank you. But would I like to see Cody Rhodes win? No. Would it be surprising if he won? Hell yeah.
I'm going to flip a coin and figure out who I want to win this.
Okay.
Does anyone care? Probably everyone's going to be going to the bathroom at this point when they're at WrestleMania.
Call it.
I'm giving it to Big Show. Heads.
Big Show it is.
Yeah, Big Show.
There you go. All right, next up, we got Daniel Bryan defending the World Championship against Sheamus. Now, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Because you have Daniel Bryan, who is sort of the love child of the entire internet.
Yeah,
you know,
very much
everybody loves Daniel Bryan, and
I'm not ashamed to say I like him too. I don't love him, but he hasn't done anything to make me like. I'm not impressed by him, but he could do. You know, I could see him becoming better as the years go on.
It's just if you followed his independent career and stuff, it's amazing to me as someone who watched him in Ring of Honor and stuff like that. That he's heading into WrestleMania as the world champion.
Yeah, it's
that I have a problem with though.
It's
you do?
You feel like he hasn't paid his dues or something like that with WWE?
No, it has nothing to do with dues or anything like that.
Joe's chewing.
I'm sorry.
Cut out all this dead air.
No, it was the same problem I had with Sheamus becoming champion like that. You know what I mean? And I've actually come to like Sheamus more lately, but he's they didn't really build him that much. He just kind of all of a sudden he was in, then all of a sudden he had the belt. How long has he been in WWE for? Like what?
2007, 2008.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And how long has he been like a main face? Even less, about a year, right?
Yeah, not long at all.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more than a year.
Year and a half.
Year and a half. They used to. I remember not even when I was growing up. I remember just a few years ago where you had to get built to. You had to like. No, this has nothing to do with paying dues. You had to like win the Intercontinental Championship and then not win anything for a while.
Well, that was paying your dues.
All right. Well, I don't see it like that. I'm just saying like he just went in and got it, and I said like I just wish they built him a little bit more.
All right.
So
then who do you see winning? Daniel Bryan?
I go with Sheamus.
I gotta go with Sheamus, yeah.
You're gonna give him his WrestleMania moment?
Yeah.
His,
I'm gonna give it to Sheamus.
confetti falling and all that stuff?
I just like that big stupid smile he gets when he wins. Looks like his head's on fire.
I'm gonna have to say Daniel Bryan only because he's been doing the thing. I don't know if you guys saw on SmackDown where he says the word yes over and over again. Yes! Yes!
No, I haven't seen that.
No.
Is that like supposed to be like the opposite of what?
No. It's him, it's whenever he's celebrating. He celebrates.
Yes!
He just says yes over and over again.
Yeah!
And I just think it would be really funny.
But what if he
For him
lost?
to do it.
Yes!
But what? It'd be even funnier if he lost and he was just yelling no.
Oh, that's true.
really.
That's
You
true.
could be like Darth Vader at the end of episode 3.
That's good one.
Yeah,
I
dude.
might have to change. I'm sticking with Sheamus.
Yeah.
I hope he.
How great would that be?
That's true. All right, yeah. All right, I say Sheamus as well. All right,
Now
now we
we
got
entertaining shit.
now we got CM Punk versus Chris Jericho in a match to determine who is the quote best in the world. It is for the WWE Championship as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
What do you think?
Well, I mean,
I actually want to start out. What do you think, Dave? I've been dying
Yeah,
to
let's
hear your
pick Dave's
opinion
brain.
because I know Dave's always been a big like Chris Jericho
fan,
supporter
yeah.
and everything like that. And
Well, I mean, I've been reading the internet, and supposedly Chris Jericho just signed a contract extension. Originally, his contract
but like Dave
was going to end, I think, next month or something like that. And he reportedly signed a 6-month extension or something like that. So now it's up in the air what's going on with Fozzy over the summer, stuff like that. I don't know with this one.
Yeah.
Because CM Punk, it was only back in June that he delivered that shoot. And he was,
yeah,
he got hot.
yeah.
It hasn't even been a year yet.
Easily one of the best promos I've ever seen, too.
And it feels like it's been 2 years since that happened.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it hasn't even been a year yet, and he hasn't gotten that moment. You can argue that he had that moment when he defeated John Cena and he won the championship,
Yeah.
and he blew a kiss to Vince McMahon and he
Yeah.
walked his ass out the door.
oh, that was
Yeah.
great.
You can argue that that was his moment. However, he came back. He fought John Cena again.
Yep.
Stuff like that. I don't know. I think this is a great opportunity to give the CM Punk character...
Doubt.
No, not doubt. Just, here. I am the established face of the WWE.
Yeah.
I won.
Yeah.
Everybody...
I beat the best. Like, I beat Chris Jericho.
Everybody's cheering for me like I said they should be, and I'm in the spotlight like I said I should be. So I think it's a great opportunity to do that. On the other hand, Chris Jericho came back, and he did the what was dubbed the Jeritroll.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Smiling and not answering questions and all
Yep.
that stuff, and then finally he spoke up and he turned into the usual heel Jericho that he's been.
Right.
Which I love, just saying.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys something, and it might be just me, but when you think about it, it's kind of like 2 decades. You got the new decade here with CM Punk, or the new generation, I should say, and then Chris Jericho.
Well, actually, if you look down the entire card, you sort of have that.
Yeah.
In a way. Which
Okay,
is,
sure,
which is interesting.
sure.
Yeah, The Rock, John Cena.
Well, yeah,
Triple H and
absolutely.
Undertaker is billed as end of an era.
Right.
So you have those two, from that era.
Now,
CM Punk, Jericho, Daniel Bryan. I guess if you want to really stretch things,
Kane and Orton.
you could say Sheamus is the veteran of the
Sure.
two. I guess if you wanted to stretch.
I mean, yeah, you could argue it.
But what I was saying with CM Punk and Chris Jericho, I kind of feel that they're almost like the same kind of person.
Well, that's why.
That's the
which is great about it. So it's almost like CM Punk facing his older brother, kind of. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys agree with me on that.
No,
because they act almost the same way. They don't respect authority and whatnot the same way.
Get your cup date.
You know what I mean? So I think it's very interesting to see this because.
Well, have you guys? I don't know if you've seen or you. Have you been seeing the Raw the last few weeks? Jericho brought up.
Yeah, I have. I've been purposely watching Raw.
I know why you're straight edge, Jericho. It's because your daddy was an alcoholic and used to beat you.
Yeah.
And he said that, and then the following week he said, "I apologize for what I said about your father, and I promise I will never say anything else about your father." Your sister, however, is a drug addict.
Now, did you? I don't know if you follow CM Punk on Twitter, but he was pissed the fuck off about that.
Well, yeah.
He was talking all about that on Twitter, and I think he just went too far. Was it planned? Did he know about this? We don't know, but I mean that's kind of taking it a little bit overboard.
Here's the thing with a lot of stuff in wrestling, and a lot of people. I bring up this point a lot, and people try to argue with me, like, well, that only happened in the 80s and the 90s. And I said, no, it still happens to today. A lot of times what you will get, especially when you're that close, I mean, that happened 3 weeks ago, about 3 Raws ago. Well, it started with that, and then the next week was his sister. But here's what'll happen. When you get close to a pay-per-view, especially WrestleMania, what it's been known to happen with the writers is with a lot of the promo stuff, if they think something's good, they don't have time to run everything by it because, I mean, they're a little better now. They'll have meetings and they'll talk about what's going to be talked about. But it's still been points where they said, you have to go out there and say this because this heat needs to happen for certain things to go the way we want it to go for this match. It's like perfectly planned out improv. They need certain things to happen, and they just have to say the right things.
I could just know.
So I would not be surprised if he didn't know that he was going to say that.
I feel like they take a lot of true things about and then spin them, and then they use that against the one of the characters.
Yeah, like when Shawn Michaels was out of money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have these true things about these people, not even the characters, about these people's lives, and then they use them against them. I mean, like a lot of people say, well, wrestling's fake, so they're just, it's written, it's all scripted and whatnot. I mean, we could talk about Cena and Rock.
Oops, sorry.
They fucking hate each other.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And they legitimately hate each other.
Yeah, it's not fake. It's not scripted. It's that's why I don't want to get into the Cena and Rock match, but it's just an example I'm using.
Well, the whole reason why I brought up the whole father and sister thing is this would be a great opportunity to give Chris Jericho the win, and then next month or I don't even know what the pay-per-view is next month because it's.
But the next big one is SummerSlam, right?
The next big one is SummerSlam, but next month at a pay-per-view, whatever pay-per-view it is.
Used to be No Way Out, I think.
You can have you can have CM Punk's sister or daddy at ringside to give Jericho a nice knock in the face or something like that to get some revenge.
I mean, it's funny because I wouldn't even necessarily call CM Punk the babyface in this match. Not completely, anyway.
I'd love to see CM Punk win and then have Jericho keep taunting him to the point where it's almost dangerous. Like, you had the moments backstage where someone gets hit by a car and shit like that, you know what I mean? Like, take it to that level.
Somebody breaks their neck 3 years ago, though.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, take it to that level, and then CM Punk just have enough, and then calling him out, and then really sticking it to Jericho. And then
because we've seen both the ugly side. I mean, Jericho, we've seen him go lose it in matches before and really be that kind of bastard character. He's always been kind of the quick-witted heel. But when he gets that's what I would like to see in this particular match is the angry Jericho and the angry CM Punk because I've seen it both and it would both be really cool to see that.
Well, the match is being billed as the best in the world, which means whichever wrestler walks out with the victory is going to claim himself, I am the best in the world.
Yeah.
If you're the WWE, do you want to give that title to Chris Jericho, who
he had it already when he was the first undisputed champion.
Exactly.
Right. But as WWE, we don't know how long he's going to be around. Or would you give it to CM Punk, who you're probably going to get another 5-6 years out of? Easy.
I'd give it to Punk. Hands down.
I would give it.
Jericho had his moment already.
I would give it to Jericho, not because I'm trying to be different, but because I feel like you said, he signed the extension,
right?
And I feel like from a rating standpoint, and a storytelling standpoint, you would get more out of him being the champion than you would out of CM Punk. You know what I mean? Not that I don't think CM Punk would make, you could do this, but you would get more out of a storyline and more with these two people. Regardless, you've got CM Punk and Chris Jericho is going up against, in many ways, his successor. Yeah. And I think you have more to gain. I personally think they would have more to gain ratings-wise and entertainment value if Chris Jericho was champion.
Regardless of the 6-month extension and whatnot, you could still have CM Punk beat him, and Jericho can bitch and whine and all that stuff like he usually does about whenever he loses, and then have someone else from his generation call him out. Talking about he's tired of him, trashing CM Punk or
like
just boring people. We don't say that word around here.
He who should not be named.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean? So have someone, other than CM Punk shut him up after he's, complaining and whatnot. You could still use CM Punk. CM Punk, you could still use Chris Jericho.
Where I actually thought they were going with this is, I really thought there was going to be a stipulation added to the match when Jericho first brought up CM Punk having his family having issues with addiction and stuff. I really thought they were going to say...
Is there any truth to that, as we said before?
I remember reading years ago that he did an interview talking about his dad. Ibsen, it probably sounds like you're peeing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm pouring
Don't drink all the water.
I
need some... Never mind.
Let's go get some water. There's plenty here, dude. There's plenty of water in this.
Thanks for leaving me some.
I thought there was going to be a stipulation added where if Jericho wins, he was going to force CM Punk to drink a beer.
That would be fucking...
That'd be cool.
Which is something that they did back in Ring of Honor.
Yep.
It was I think it was Punk Raven or Punk. Yeah, Punk
it was Raven. Punk Raven.
Where one of their matches, it might not have been Ring of Honor, but it was around the time where they were...
Wait, wasn't it TNA in its early days?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. He didn't really establish himself as straight into TNA. In TNA, he showed up and he looked kind of gothic, and he was like, "Hey, I'm a wrestler."
That's what he said.
Then he
was.
What, on the flip side, if that was what Jericho would do, or it was, a buzz on the internet, if he won, I'd love to see... CM Punk, if he really wanted to stick it to Jericho.
How many hamburgers did you buy, Joe?
Let's be fair. It's a chicken sandwich. Let's take it easy.
It's a spicy chicken sandwich. It's new at McDonald's.
I feel like whenever I talk, he's unwrapping another sandwich.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You want some?
No, get out of here.
You said last night.
All right.
Oh, geez. All right. What was I saying before I was?
Something about.
Oh, so if I think it'd be cool if CM Punk made Jericho submit to the walls of Jericho.
It's happened before.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting. It hasn't happened since they got back.
It's true. I feel like they would only have impact if it was a submission match, though.
No, because then it's predictable. I think it'd be predictable.
Well, obviously it's predictable. That's how you win the match.
No, it would be predictable that he would use his own move against him.
But not necessarily. It's gone... what was the...
I would love to see that with a big old grin on CM Punk's face as he's doing the walls of Jericho, making him submit.
No, they always scream when they're in those.
All right, so then, who do you see winning? CM Punk, Chris Jericho.
Gibson.
I'm usually disappointed in matches like this on WrestleMania, so I'd love to see CM Punk win, but I think it's gonna go to Chris Jericho because he signed the contract.
Okay.
I say Jericho all the way. And I would be actually very happy if he won.
I say CM Punk.
I'm getting outnumbered on this. Out of the big one.
Okay, now one of the big ones. Or the big one.
We almost started a debate about this earlier before we even started.
Yeah, depending on who you talk to. This might be the main event.
Usually
Triple H versus The Undertaker, Hell in a Cell.
Special guest referee
Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
Who's winning?
We need to talk.
We need to talk about
the match. There's a lot to this right now. There's so many factors we have to take into.
Well, this would be if Undertaker were to win in this one, it'd be 30-0.
No, it wouldn't. It'd be 20-0.
20-0. I'm sorry, 30-0.
Would it even be 20 now? I think it would be 20.
No, it'd be 20-0.
No, it'd be 20. Yeah, last year was 19.
I swear to God.
Would it?
that's why I was so, well, to continue, I'm disappointed because even though this is a Hell in a Cell, he already fought Triple H already. Wasn't that last year?
It was last year.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is kind of like a rematch of last year, which I think is a bit boring. Now, this is number 20 now.
Right.
Yeah, right? Number 20.
This is to be 20.
All right, Dave just looked it up on the internet. It is number 20. And I was
God, I feel old.
I've seen every one of his matches, about every one of his.
And I was just like, because this is the big 2-0, I felt like, and we all thought he was going to retire after this, which he still might. But it's
looking more and more likely.
It's looking likely?
Well, no.
I would say less likely.
You know what I would do? If I
Well, I'll find out when I get my tickets for next year.
Yeah.
Here's I mean, this might be sidetracking, but I think the Undertaker is a very unique character in the sense that he never has to retire.
Doesn't really.
Because what you can have him do is you can have him semi-retire and deliver some sort of undead, dead man speech about how, it's going to sound cheesy, but...
Do it in the Undertaker voice.
I'm not writing the script, but the gist of it would be he'll be gone, but he's always going to be overlooking the WWE.
I'm always there.
Yeah, I'm always there for you.
Yeah. you can always count on me.
Something like that. But not so cheesy. So the point where, if something goes on, you always have that Undertaker.
If there's a disturbance in the WWE, right. All of a sudden you'll hear the gong and the lights go out.
You're right though, because the beauty of it is, I just feel like with the Undertaker, like if you have people that have watched wrestling, like they tell legends. Like when I was a kid, we used to watch someone called the Undertaker, and like that's how people know about that. Yeah. So like the new generation watches it. So when you hear that gong, they're like, "This is what my dad or my brother told me about. Right. It's him. It's the legend."
Right.
So you gotta pop no matter what.
So you can have the Undertaker, fishing in Texas, who hasn't watched wrestling in months. But guess what? You need a quick pop on your wrestling card. You turn off the lights, you make the gong hit. The lights come on. Everybody's knocked out. Or the heel's been, knocked out, and Undertaker's righted the wrong.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a hell of a thing to do until next WrestleMania.
Right. So it's a way.
That's a great idea. I'm surprised they never did that.
Right. It's a way to keep him around, but you don't need him physically.
Yeah, it is.
And the Undertaker has always been built around this,
mystique and
mystical force.
Yeah, this mystical force, and
which I'm surprised still actually holds. I think it's actually only gotten stronger. I mean, that whole storyline with him, his character's only gotten stronger because now we live in a world where, there's no more gimmicks, people use their real names, everything like that.
And we still buy it.
And we still buy into it. You can't tell me, Dave, when you went to see WrestleMania, the first time he fought Shawn Michaels, that when those lights went off, you didn't get chills.
Oh, God. WrestleMania 25, we were children. It was...
when the lights went off, you were just like...
The lights went off, we were climbing all over each other, this is amazing!
But and that's probably why he's easily one of the best in the business, because he still has that ability.
Right.
And what's great about him, I mean, with, even though the American Badass phase that he had...
I liked it.
It was still good. He still hasn't really changed much. Other people will change their characters multiple times in their entire career. He really didn't change much. Oh, God. He hasn't really changed much with the exception of the American Badass phase, and he's been in the business for a very, very long time.
Well, the whole reason why I brought up this, Undertaker Guardian Fallen Angel, whatever you want to call it.
Dark Angel.
Is because I don't see Undertaker ever stepping away from the WWE.
It's true.
I don't see him ever being like, okay, I'm done. He's always going to be...
If he were to retire after this WrestleMania, I'd be very disappointed because the build-up was no build-up for this.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's going to retire after this WrestleMania.
Maybe I'm just afraid that he'll retire. I think that's what... It's always going to be in the back of my mind.
Because with the whole thing with Edge and whatnot, there was no warning.
But that was medical. That was medical.
Yeah.
And that was true. And that was like... I remember that when he got hurt. And that was years ago. And I'm like, that's funny how he just kind of bounced back from that. Well, he didn't. If you look at the last match he had before he retired, he was in excruciating amounts of pain. It was kind of like watching WrestleMania 14 with Shawn Michaels, where everybody knew he had a bad back.
Right.
And he was just throwing himself everywhere, and he was literally like bleeding from the mouth at one point.
But I don't see Undertaker ever stepping away. But I don't see how you can't put him in a suit. and make him
it would never work.
And make him an on-screen character.
It would never work.
You know, you can't do that with the Undertaker.
He's almost is the WWE.
You make him a commentator next to next to Jerry Lawler.
It would never work. That's not, because that's not the kind of It wouldn't. You're right. It wouldn't work.
Well, people also, I feel, the fans would lose respect for Undertaker.
I don't know if it's a respect thing. I mean,
it's just if he were to do something like that, you know what I mean?
No, because
him come back as the general manager, you know what I mean? I don't think it would work.
I don't think it would work as the Dead Man character, which is sort of the curse of the Dead Man character, because this is sort of unrelated, but I think it's worth bringing up. Whenever a wrestler passes away, everybody gathers on stage, pays their condolences. Not once has The Undertaker been able to go out on stage. Why? Because his name is The Undertaker, and he's associated with death. So he's held in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Because, they don't want to put him out there.
That's a...
So there's stuff like
I've argued
that,
point with many
that this, while it's obviously been a blessing, it's sort of backed him into a corner, because now it's prohibited with what he can do. Can you go back to American Badass Undertaker and be an authority figure?
Not now. Maybe if you kind of played up, if you played down, because the funny thing about that whole biker thing that he did and the Dead Man thing is you could find some kind of weird hybrid. Maybe. I'm not saying it would work, but that would be their best shot at it.
Sort of
like Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Like Ghost Rider comes in like on a.
I'm not saying he turns. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like you're asking if this would be able to. So people are wondering if could you do this? That's your best alternative because you couldn't have the Dead Man character, but no one would buy into the fact that he just reverted back to the American Badass character. Wouldn't make any sense. But if you find a hybrid between the two, maybe it would work. Maybe. But
would there be any reason for him to go back to that? I feel that he was more. He'll always be popular.
He will always be popular. He will.
As the Undertaker, not the American Badass. I feel that it was.
But again, you're not listening to me. I'm not saying go back to the American Badass. I'm saying if Vince
I'm just saying there's no reason to hybrid both of them.
Okay, but you're not listening to me. All I'm saying is this: if they decided to have him step away from the ring finally, and Dave said it would never work to have him in a suit, but. Technically speaking, you could work with the American Badass image, but it would make no sense for him to just turn right back to the American Badass image after what's it been like? When did he come back and do the Dead Man thing? 2005? 2005, so it's been about 10 more years that he's been doing this again.
God, I feel old.
Yeah.
And I remember it too. And all I'm saying is if they wanted the general manager thing to work, they'd have to find a hybrid between the two because if it did the American Badass things, the fans would not buy it.
Well, I mean, we got into this because we started discussing whether or not The Undertaker's going to retire. I don't think The Undertaker's retiring after this match. Only because...
I'm afraid he's going to retire. I don't think he will, but I'm just afraid.
Only because I think The Undertaker, he's earned the right to announce, WrestleMania takes place April 1st this year. He's earned the right to appear on Raw April 2nd and say, next year, I'm retiring. Mm-hmm. This way, you have that build. And it's in the fans' minds that this is the last time they're going to see him.
Right. Let me ask you, Dave, because you definitely go on the internet and you kind of know what's going on more than both of us, I'll say. Yeah. Do you kind of feel like the fans almost, I don't want to say got cheated, but like by putting Triple H again with Undertaker for number 20?
It worked with Shawn Michaels twice.
Yes, it's a Hell in a Cell.
I think when it comes down to it, though, Ibsen. I mean,
Hell in a Cell, arguably one of Undertaker's possibly his greatest match with Mick Foley, in the Hell in a Cell match. Arguably, that's what I said.
Definitely the most graphic match I've ever been.
So yes, it's interesting that it'll be Hell in a Cell. Yes, I will be watching. I'll be on the balls of my feet. But with Triple H again, I kind of feel like they could have did better.
I mean, I'm probably not the right person to ask because I read the internet. The reason why.
Well, who would have you liked to see instead?
Well, I want to hear the reason why, because Dave's... Yeah.
The reason why they put Taker with Triple H is because Taker is not in good shape.
Sure, and who better to make him look good than Triple H? Absolutely.
And who better to keep him safe than Triple H?
Yeah.
That's the main reason why they put him with Triple H. And I can understand that. And they've done a decent job of putting a story behind it. Who would I have liked to have seen Taker go up against? I think it would have been very fitting and a good opportunity if the writers had it in the back of their mind that Kane was going to come back with a mask. They should have done Kane Taker.
Undertaker's been quoted on saying, "If I would prefer my last match to be with Kane." This was years ago, but
right
when they asked him about
I think if there ever comes a time, and Kane's been rumored to be, thinking about retiring.
Yes.
So if there's ever a time where the two of them are like,
this is our
that's kind of like the worlds collide type thing. Like when you first introduced Kane, that was like, oh my God, like another unstoppable force. So to kind of go back to that just for one night would be very fitting. Dave's good. I remember at the beginning of the year, I kind of called, because in my mind, I figure, just from a nostalgic standpoint, the battles he's had with Mick Foley over the years, I was actually half right, because I called Hell in a Cell.
Right.
But I said he would be...
I never thought they would do Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania.
Neither did I.
I never thought.
But I called Hell in a Cell, Taker against Foley, because I figure... But again, that was my mindset, is if anybody would give him a good send-off, it could be Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Not the greatest performer in the world, but...
Well, now here's the thing. Do you think that the streak should end?
No, I don't. I think it's
after tonight? After
tonight? No, the WrestleMania's not till Sunday.
No, sorry.
Well, do you think that he should retire with the streak intact? This is also going to determine whether or not who you.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with here's the flip side to this being a good idea. Keeping Undertaker safe, making him look good and stuff like that. Securing number 20.
Right.
So, if anything should happen to Undertaker later on, or if they wanted Undertaker to lose, God forbid, at another future match, they can, and he'll still have the 20 matches secured.
Yeah. So, but do you think that if Undertaker says, I'm retiring next year, regardless of who he faces,
do you think
he should lose and he should be 20-1, or do you think he should retire with 21-0?
I'm torn on this particular. I've thought about this so many times, and I'm torn on this because, in my mind, the streak is part of.
No one else is ever going to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No one else is ever going to do it, but
it should be. With
there's
Undertaker,
a lot to be said about what would happen after that match when the streak ends. Like,
whoever ends it.
I picture like it going dark, it being like almost like a. In the perfect world, like if Vince can get the funding, like Undertaker's body being raised up or down.
Well, yeah, they did that. Like, they did that back in '96 or '97. He lost a casket match, and
that's right.
And his body floated up to heaven.
Well, also think about this. How about I blow your mind right now? Ready for this? 2012. How fucking great would it have been if he threw in some sort of end of an apocalypse type deal with the Undertaker, and you based the storyline with that.
End of apocalypse.
You still got the fall to do that.
Yeah, but not WrestleMania though.
Do you think that Taker should? Let's say Taker announces, "I'm retiring." Now this is interesting. Should he retire at WrestleMania or should he retire at Survivor Series?
WrestleMania.
He debuted at Survivor Series, and I think it would be a really cool bookend.
It would be where it's kind of like one size. He was part of the $1 Million Man's Survivor Series team. First time he introduced.
Survivor Series has always been Taker's.
And people always forget that.
Taker's event.
People always forget that his first manager was not Paul Bearer, it was the $1 Million Man.
Right.
Actually, it was Brother Love.
That's right, it was Brother Love.
Well, it might have been $1 Million Man for a little while.
Yeah.
All right.
And then later on.
I wouldn't be disappointed as long as he had a really good match and a good storyline for it.
Personally, I think he should retire with the streak intact. Only because I don't see, looking across the landscape of the WWE or TNA or the independents, I don't see someone
doing that again.
Who I would say, you're going to defeat The Undertaker, you're going to end the WrestleMania streak because you're going to become that huge superstar that you're going to become. I don't see anybody like that.
No, but the only people that would be quote-unquote worthy of that are all retired or have too much respect for him and wouldn't do it.
And I think that's very telling about the landscape. He's one
of the most respected people, not just in the WWE, but even the independent circuit, TNA. That's one thing I will say about when the first promo for this match it was right after the Undertaker appeared, and then it was when Shawn Michaels came on, and Triple H said something about like, we're the last of a dying breed. Which is true. I think it's truer than ever, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
It's not. That's not a made up thing. It's the end of an era. So, and that's. I don't think you could. There's nobody that could ever do that again.
Well, there was a rumor that whole end of an era moniker for this match was born out of a tongue-in-cheek comment from the creative team, as sort of a way to say to the younger guys, "You're not on our level.
Step it up.
Time to pick things up."
That's true because no matter what. I mean, Undertaker's not feeling that well, but I mean, I'll take a hurt Undertaker over most of these new guys. Which is going to be my point when we get to the end of this.
So I think we're all unanimous. Taker's walking away with the victory.
I'm positive that he'll win, and I'm positive it'll be.
If he lost, it'd be a riot, dude. It'd be a riot.
Now, do you think Shawn Michaels?
I don't think it'd be a riot. I think if he lost, you could literally hear a pin drop. I think people would go silent.
I think what would be great is if he hurt Triple H so badly, or whatever he did through the cage, whatever you want to call it. Shawn Michaels wants Triple H to win, of course. It's his best friend and whatnot. It'd be great for there to be like an emotional thing with Shawn Michaels almost on the verge of crying because he wants Triple H to win and he can't slow the pin down and whatnot. Like he's like, come on, and then he's like, one, and he's trying to get him to kick out. Like it'd be a great emotional thing.
Well, you got this whole thing right now, the whole storyline of Taker saying Shawn's better than you. You can't get done what Shawn couldn't do.
Which is true, technically.
And you have Shawn Michaels, smiling behind Triple H's back, and all these things, and Triple H catching Shawn smiling, as sort of this way to add, whose side is Shawn Michaels going to be on.
And we all know his history as a referee,
right?
Which
so
has been colorful.
Is Shawn Michaels gonna be okay with counting the 1, 2, 3? Because that's also going to be saying Triple H got done what I couldn't get done.
It's true. Didn't think of that.
So is
oh man, that's good.
Is Shawn going to be okay doing that? But then you have Triple H who's saying, "Haha, I got my best friend in my back pocket."
Yeah. And
you have Shawn saying, "Yeah, DX for life." So we really don't know where Shawn is gonna.
And that's. You have to look. Also, I think this is a funny thing. I just realized the last time Shawn refereed a match was the Iron Man match between Triple H and The Rock, I believe, where The Undertaker actually came back.
I don't think that's the last time he refereed.
Was it? Are you sure?
Yes. I don't know what match it was, but I'm sure.
Was it a pay-per-view? Maybe that's what I'm trying to think of.
I'm sure it wasn't. The last time he refereed a match wasn't 1999 or 98.
It was 2000.
2000. 12 years ago. I'm sure.
Wow, we're old.
I'm sure he's refereed a match since
Did you watch that pay-per-view, Dave?
Yes.
Oh, no.
And I paid,
so did I.
I paid like $14.99.
I did. Now it's, what is it, $60?
Yeah, $60.
Talk about that at the end, bitching about how old we are. Like, I remember when you could.
Do you think they haven't done anything with the Cell in recent years?
No, they haven't. What was the last Hell in a Cell match they had?
Had Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, but what? That was. Didn't they not have one this year?
I didn't even. No, they had it at the Hell.
Yeah,
in a Cell.
they had a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, right?
Well, I heard the last one sucked, so I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either, so I don't even know who the last. But they haven't done anything with the Cell.
But that took away from it for me. That's another reason I didn't watch it. When the Hell in a Cell came out, it was like, ooh.
Right. There should not
to do Hell in a Cell though. I feel like
ladder match
for number 20. I feel like casket match.
Well, I think
that would have been great.
They didn't do casket match actually. Casket in a
Number 20. It's Undertaker's claim to fame. It's his match.
Well, you could argue the fact that the Hell he was in the first Hell in a Cell match. He's been in every. He's been in just about every one except for like 2 or 3.
I mean, his name is the Undertaker. Yes, casket.
Right.
Undertaker casket. But
you said it before the Mankind match, and then
arguably his greatest match.
Oddly enough, the Shawn Michaels match was his first one.
Right. So I don't know.
I'd love to see, just to throw this out there, I'd love to see Paul Bearer manage Undertaker his last match.
He got buried
with the urn and like that.
I think
he was actually at Survivor Series. He wasn't on TV, but he was backstage. I saw him when I went to Survivor Series.
Isn't he one of the writers now or something like
that? No. All right, so
this is a question I want to put out there though. You said this before, and it's sort of rang true. I would say almost the last couple of years. The last couple of years. Do you think it'll steal the show?
The Undertaker, Triple H?
Oh, hell yes. You know what? Because The Rock. Yeah.
No. Let's not bring in The Rock. It's just based on... Because let's be honest. I mean, the first Shawn Michaels Undertaker match was amazing. It was one of Shawn Michaels' greatest matches and arguably one of the Undertaker's best. And the second one was not on the same level, but still it stole the show from the actual main event.
I feel that the only thing that's not going to...
The Triple H match wasn't great, but it stole the show.
I feel that the only thing is kind of like... that's going to slow... I think the momentum is just going to be slowed because of the Hell in a Cell. Undertaker's going to be exhausted, so Triple H is going to have to, like, kind of pretend to be. So there's going to be a lot of laying around time. I feel it's going to slow up the momentum of the match. I still think it's going to be a great match. Hopefully, I'm praying it is.
I don't think in this day and age, in this quote unquote PG era of the WWE, a Hell in a Cell match is capable of stealing the show.
Yeah.
Because they have to tone it all down.
Well, being that it's a pay-per-view...
The funny thing about this PG...
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter the same.
Well, Linda McMahon's running for...
No, she's not running anymore.
Yes, she is.
She's doing...
I thought she was.
She did, but she's doing it again for this term.
Oh, God.
So they kind of have to uphold for that whole thing.
So, I mean, last year Triple H and Undertaker got fined for...
the chair shot.
A chair shot to the head.
They didn't care.
So, like... It doesn't matter that it's a pay-per-view or that it's WrestleMania. Things are going to get toned down. So I don't see the Hell in a Cell match.
But do you think that they're going to be like, we're doing it anyway, just, we have the money, fuck it?
Probably in a few things.
Yeah.
But I don't see a Hell in a Cell match stealing the show.
That's the problem with the PG era. I didn't even think of that. Is the beauty of those Hell in a Cell matches were that was considered like...
The most raw
It was the most violent match you could think of. That's why... Technically speaking, Foley retired on a match like that, and that Foley Triple H match was like the pinnacle.
God, I was crying at the end, dude.
That was ECW all the way through, but it's supposed to be one of the most violent matches. And Dave made a good point: is it might not be capable of stealing just because the Hell in a Cell might be more of a handicap than a.
The Hell in a Cell is definitely a way. You put Triple H with the Undertaker to protect the Undertaker, and make him have a good match. You put both those guys in a Hell in a Cell match to further that along. The Undertaker is not in good shape.
Right.
These are just layers that they've added to this match to distract from that fact.
Yeah, to spice it up, to make it more appeasing.
So, we're all in agreement, Undertaker's walking away with the victory. Yeah. Personally, I don't see it stealing the show. And then finally... We're on to the...
Something that's been in the
45 minutes later, we're on to The Rock and John Cena.
Talks.
No, it's good. It's good.
We're on to The Rock and John Cena. Era versus era. It's sort of Hulk Hogan Rock.
The Rock wins. Good night. See you guys later. No. No, it is sort of Hulk Hogan Rock. But
before we get into this, there's a few things to take into consideration.
What are the rules, ref?
We're in Miami.
Yeah.
Which is The Rock's hometown.
Yep.
The Rock is filming a movie either next month or
Fast 6. Jesus
I'm going to see
it.
Something like that.
How fast can you go?
Did you see the last one? It was amazing.
No, I didn't watch it.
So we got to take those two things into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all we have to take into consideration.
I will say this. I want to say this right off the bat. One thing right off the bat. I'm not saying this is who I pick. If The Rock wins, I think what they should do is take the opportunity and finally just turn Cena heel.
I think that's what every internet fan feels. I think every internet fan is saying it's about time you turn John Cena heel. But the thing is, you don't have to.
Because everyone fucking hates him already. Right. And they hate him because he's like, well, all the kids like me, and I'm the face of WWE. No, we fucking hate you. Leave. But
I do not hate John Cena, the wrestler. I hate the fact that they are just... They're like, no, it'll work. Eventually they'll cheer for him. They're not gonna cheer for him. I don't know why. I can't explain it why, but they're not going to.
It's just so funny because he has this mentality about it.
When he was a heel, he was great.
He understands that, like, he's not liked in some places. You know what I mean? Like
some
New York, because he's from. That's what his mentality is.
No, there are legitimately
Boston doesn't even like him. He's from Boston.
No, if you saw if you watched Raw the last few weeks, they've gone to some towns where John Cena has gotten the better reaction.
Well, mostly it's just wives and 11-year-old boys. I mean, that's it, dude.
There's a lot for his character.
I mean, The Rock really, when he was doing the whole Fruity Pebbles thing and all of the stuff, he was making a lot of good points.
But The Rock, I don't think a lot of people realize The Rock's doing. I can't even necessarily say that Rock's the babyface or the heel in this match. The Rock is just being The Rock. He's playing that fine line that he's so good at playing where he's...
You know what I can't stand that he's been doing?
What?
The Rock show?
No, the pauses. Whenever, like, there's an inkling of a chant, there could be 3 people in the 4th row chanting Fruity Pebbles.
And he'll just
and
stop
The Rock stops in hopes that that chant is going to catch on. And the entire crowd is going to be cheering it. And this last week on Raw, he did it about 6 times, and the chant never caught on. So you're watching this promo where he's talking about John Cena, and he just... and he just stops.
I just want to say,
like,
I saw that
talking.
promo, and it was bad. It was a good promo because it was like, wow, he's really like, it's old school Rock, and you're like, yeah. And all of a sudden he just stopped for like 30 seconds
because one guy was chanting Rocky.
All right, I'll give you that.
I don't know.
But at the same time, it's just like, there's really no heel babyface in this match.
Well, no, you're in Miami.
Yeah.
You're in Miami.
No, I'm saying from the build standpoint.
Well, yes.
I'm not saying you're in Miami.
You're in Miami.
Rock,
it was like in
babyface.
When I went to the Survivor Series. Well, you were there too. How bad did he get booed? It's going to be exactly the same way at WrestleMania. He's facing The Rock. Everyone loves The Rock, and he's in Miami, dude.
I brought up the point that you don't have to turn John Cena heel, but just to play devil's advocate, you're in The Rock's hometown. You know Cena's going to get booed out of the building no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Do you pour gasoline on that fire?
Well,
to get that moment. That moment where you're in The Rock's hometown.
And you beat him.
And, you know...
Well, John Cena's always talking about
talking
about how he's there for the fans and how he's there for the WWE. With him constantly saying that, I don't feel that he would turn heel because he's always reminding the audience.
Well, you know,
but that's another reason why he would turn heel.
The 3 of us.
It'd be great if we just saw him snap and it was like, you know, he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out for my own now."
The three of us are into literature and all that stuff.
Yep.
The best villains.
Or the people think that they're doing a service to the people.
Or the people that think they're doing a service, that they're right.
Yeah.
They're not doing, yes, I'm so evil.
Stephen Richards, freaking right to censor.
One of my favorite heels.
Yeah, dude. Brilliant.
So, it's, in my opinion, if you wanted to turn John Cena heel, have him cheat to defeat The Rock.
And just...
And say the next night on Raw, you know, maybe not even bring it up. Just be like, I defeated The Rock. And we all know
that he didn't really. But if that's the case, though, we're going to see The Rock and John Cena next year at WrestleMania.
No. There's a rumor that Rock's doing something at SummerSlam.
That I'll buy. That's their next big show.
So
do I like The Rock being in WWE? Of course I do. He's going to keep bouncing in, bouncing out whenever he has movies going on.
He's never leaving, quote unquote.
Yeah. But he's going to take long vacations, we'll say.
He's gonna,
extended vacations.
Say that again. Just he's
never leaving. Quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote.
Sorry.
When I need to promote my new movie, I will be there.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm cool with that because I love The Rock. The Rock is great. He brings in the fans. He sells a lot of merch. We'll say that. He is good for the WWE. He's good for the WWE.
He was,
and he has the nostalgic factor in it all too. You know. Do I want to see The Rock win? Let's just get to it. Do I want to see The Rock win at WrestleMania? Yes. Do I think he'll win? Yes. If John Cena decides to turn heel, and by him turning heel, he has to win against Rock, like he cheats and it's successful and he beats him, am I willing to sacrifice that? Sure, because it's about time he does, because everyone hates him and he needs to turn heel already.
Well, I mean,
going with what Dave said before.
Let's say we're the WWE. We're Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm. Can I be Shane?
Yes.
Okay.
You have The Rock, who you love and respect.
You be Hunter.
And who is, you know, a great asset to your company.
Always will.
But, in the back of your head, he's leaving.
No.
You know, okay, he's never leaving. But he's taking that long vacation.
I can understand that, but if this was a title match, I can understand that, but it's not. You can afford to not
bigger than a title match.
But can you with John Cena?
I just realized that I just want to point out how I find hilarious that they've actually since in the last 3 years moved most of the title matches back one spot, and they finally take it completely out of the main event because of this.
Well, that happened last year WrestleMania.
No, it didn't.
The Snooki match was after 2 championship matches.
It was after 2 championship matches.
but if you're the Vince McMahon and you're the writing team and you're the merchandise supervisor and all these people and you're looking at John Cena, do you really want to have John Cena lose to a guy who's not going to be there tomorrow night? Or do you want the guy, do you want the face of your company to walk out of this monumental match the victor?
I'll ask you.
This way you can milk it.
I'll ask you. We're pretending that you're Vince McMahon. I'm going to ask you, Mr. McMahon, okay, is it wise for John Cena to win in Miami against John Cena?
For John Cena possibly,
to win against John Cena?
That's a really tough one.
You just said John Cena to win against John Cena.
Oh, no, sorry. The Rock against John Cena. If I'm on some medication, okay? So Dayquil, not anything else. Is it wise to do that? Have John Cena win against The Rock? I corrected myself that time. In Miami, with all this going on and whatnot, people are going to riot in Miami.
It's business, though. You got to understand from business.
And have that be the last match with no redeeming factor. If you end it with Undertaker at the very last, if you make the Undertaker match the last match and he wins, okay. But if the Rock and Cena match,
I think we can all agree that the Rock and Cena is going on.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you really can't. You can't do that. It's going to disappoint so many fans.
You can't ask me to think like Vince McMahon because I'm the person. I want to watch the world burn. So I would say
I want to watch the world burn.
I would say
you're thinking of Vince McMahon's character, not at a business standpoint.
No, I want him. No, he's got to think like.
No. If I'm Vince McMahon, and I think that this is the sick way Vince McMahon does think, and you know what? Maybe it's not sick. He thinks in entertainment.
What's going to be entertaining?
What's going to be the bigger story? The Rock wins. Okay, The Rock wins. The Rock defeated John Cena. Okay, The Rock's better than John Cena. The Rock's now filming G.I. Joe 7, or whatever he's filming. But John Cena cheats to win. Maybe you have, maybe you sort of do a WrestleMania 17 thing.
That's what I wanted to bring up. That heel turn, you could kind of almost do this, not the same thing, because it wouldn't have the same impact. It was because it was Austin at the time. But having John Cena do that, in some different way, shape, or form, would work.
I mean, you could have Vince McMahon, the character, Vince McMahon, physically walk down to that ring as if he's just watching things. This was the original. This is what Steve Austin was quoted as saying he wished he had done with his WrestleMania 17 heel turn. He said he wishes Vince McMahon walked down to the ring, threw Stone Cold a chair. Stone Cold took the chair, hit The Rock over the head, shook hands with Vince McMahon, delivered a stunner to Vince McMahon, keeping him face.
It would have
this way, yes, Austin cheated to defeat The Rock, but guess what?
He's not making no deals with Vince McMahon.
Right, he's not making no deals with Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have kind of a similar thing happen with John Cena, where John Cena accepts the aid of someone else? Whether it's John Laurinaitis
or anybody,
or Vince
he doesn't
McMahon,
have to be Vince McMahon,
or Michael Cole.
Ugh.
I don't know, somebody. But then in the end, do something to. I mean, granted, the crowd's gonna be
going nuts,
right? Booing him out of the building. But you could have him do something where the next night on Raw he can say,
"At least I didn't do this."
At least I didn't do this.
Which is a good point. And to be honest, you have to understand. When a fan walks into that building, as Dave said before when he went to WrestleMania, the real world goes away, and you live in this world. So
there is nothing like. Have you ever been out of WrestleMania?
No.
Well, next year.
And you've
been talking about it,
right?
yeah.
So.
Yeah. I've gone to 3 different WrestleManias.
Which ones?
I went to 2000. I went to 2000. When did 2006?
What?
That's when you guys went. Oh wait, I don't know.
Was that an MSG? WrestleMania 20. When was that? 2004. 2004.
Yeah.
And then I went to WrestleMania 25.
Right. Texas.
It's amazing, and I've been to 24 other pay-per-views and Raws and things like that.
Yeah.
But there's something about WrestleMania, who no matter what your age is, if you're a big enough wrestling fan, you get wrapped up in everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It takes you back to simpler times.
Right.
Like I said, the real world goes away, and you live.
I mean, when we were at Survivor Series, at least how I felt, I was like a little kid. And I was that way at Raw also. Right. With WrestleMania, it's the Super Bowl of wrestling.
Right. So, who do I think is going to win?
Who do you want to win?
Do you think The Rock would have agreed to do the match on contract if he wasn't?
Yeah, he's not that kind of guy.
Yeah, I think The Rock hates John Cena. John Cena hates The Rock. But they're both business. They're both business guys.
Yeah.
They understand it. They understand that they have to work together. I don't think there's going to be any cheap shots during the match. They're not going to actually knock each other around.
They're professional.
I think they'll be a bit stiffer than they need to be.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody's going to be taking any liberties. Personally, who I want to win the match, John Cena. And that's shocking. But I just think it's going to lead to... I'm thinking about the next year.
Yeah.
Right, but don't you think this has gone on long enough? This whole thing took an entire year. Most storylines don't.
Well, you have to understand, too, what they did was Rock came back, hosted Raw, they had that whole thing.
They dabbled with it last year at WrestleMania.
Right.
They took it even...
And then the next night they announced it.
And then the next night they announced it. So an entire year talking about it at some Monday Night Raws, and then Survivor Series... You know, the tag team, that was incredible. They were talking about the one-on-one match with John Cena and The Rock during the tag team match.
That only makes sense,
But the thing is...
I feel like it's gone long... Bury it.
Let's say the rumored SummerSlam match is going to happen. Rock, Cena. Give the victory to John Cena.
And then The Rock comes back.
And it picks up the victory.
Because arguably speaking, you could argue that I've always considered The Rock has had the better batch of matches at SummerSlam than he has at WrestleMania. Right. And I've always considered SummerSlam more of the Rock show.
That's who I want to win. John Cena.
Who do
I think is going to win?
Yeah.
I don't know.
See?
This is what's interesting about this is because in my mind I'm thinking, okay, they're in Miami. They want to get that pop with The Rock. They want that WrestleMania pop where, it's a celebratory thing at the end of the event.
I feel like the surprise would be that Rock wouldn't win.
But then WrestleMania is ending with booze.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Again.
I kind of want that. I kind of want it.
I'm not saying that wouldn't be
because
good.
It's never happened.
It's never happened. Has it never happened? No, it's never happened.
No, because even when Austin turned heel, it was the entire...
It was like, they didn't really know what to do.
Right, they didn't know what to do. They were like, is Vince McMahon face now?
People just walked out, like, scratching their head.
No, I was confused. I was at home, like, I'm happy-ish.
Right. So...
But I think I honestly think if he did that whole, like, received help from somebody...
Because the thing was...
Well, it was a slight disappointment. It was like, no!
Well, WrestleMania 17, the hometown favorite won. It was Austin in Texas.
I think Vince also knew in the back of his mind, no matter what happens, if he wins, they're going to cheer, at least for that night.
Right.
But you have to understand, that was Austin, this is Cena.
Right.
That's... John Cena's not Austin.
I was going to say, no way, shape, or form is John Cena half the guy.
That's my point. That's my point.
Yeah.
That's why Vince could say, like, guess what? You're turning heel. And because I know at WrestleMania... They're going to cheer no matter what. We're in Texas.
Let's face it.
He was so over at that point. Like he could have fucking
Vince
jumped
McMahon's boy is John Cena.
Right.
We all know that. That's his claim to fame, at least this present time and whatnot. So, would I like to see a repeat of that? Vince McMahon coming out, he gets the chair, either lands the chair shot or The Rock deflects the shot or reverses it or whatever.
Yeah, technically either way.
That'd be cool. Either way. At least you see, hey, you are gonna cheat, but The Rock stopped you. You get the best of both worlds that way, I feel.
So who do you think's gonna win, and who do you want to win?
You brought up a good standpoint. I feel that that it would be business-wise, it'd be a good idea, possibly, or it wouldn't hurt if John Cena won.
Okay.
I would love if The Rock would win. Who do I think is gonna win? The Rock, because even if they were so twisted and want to turn it around and whatnot and possibly do something for SummerSlam and whatnot, I feel that the wise decision for WWE should have The Rock win.
All right, Joe?
Again, what I want to do, I'm very much like you in the standpoint of, let's see what happens. Let's put these two explosives together.
Because no matter what, Vince is going to make money.
Oh, yeah.
WWE is going to make money.
This match...
So it's not a matter
was making money before it even started.
Right,
it's been making money for the past year.
It's not a matter of, this is a huge risk, No matter what.
He has nothing...
People are
he's not going to lose anything from this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And people are going to wait for The Rock to come out and at Raw.
But here's what I think. I would like, very much like you, to see John Cena win. That's what I would want to see. Because
Now, wait. The only way I want John Cena to win is if there's something else to it.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't want it to be Cena, good boy.
Yeah, I would prefer it. I would prefer...
Something incredible needs to happen.
Please? Right. Something just from a standpoint of if they had, like the whole thing with Vince McMahon coming to help him out and anything like that, that I'd want to see. I want to see more. I don't want to just see him win. I want to see him, win because of something else, or win because of this, or cheat. There has to be something to it. If it's just a straight, it can't have the same ending, because we brought up Hogan Rock. It cannot have the same ending that Hogan Rock had.
Where they shake hands.
It won't work with this.
Right.
It won't work. And that match, you went into it with Hogan as the heel.
Right, but everybody wanted Hogan to be face.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why the crowd was split. Right. I love that match, but I still...
And that's something interesting that's been going on with WWE, is that you can tell WWE wants that split crowd.
But they're not going to get it.
But they're not going to get it.
No,
there's absolutely no way they're
It's not... It's reminiscent of Hogan and The Rock, but it's not... John Cena's no Hulk Hogan. I'm not... That's all it is. But I think The Rock's probably going to win, and I think he's going to... but... I feel like in the back of my mind, I'm going to change it. I'm going to say Cena wins, but there's going to be something to it, and Rock gets to win at SummerSlam. I'm going to go against the grain.
All right.
You both are saying The Rock, and it's the smart business choice. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's the smartest business choice. But
now, okay.
I'm going to go with John Cena.
We're going to go with John Cena.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. Now, I'm going to throw a wrench in the thing.
Here we go.
Oh, God.
I love it.
And we've only been talking for an hour and 17 minutes.
It's fine, man. Be longer than Lord of the Rings. I'm all for it.
I don't got work till 7.
There was a rumor, and pouring water again.
Yeah. I'm out.
There was a rumor that Brock Lesnar would be involved in this year's WrestleMania. Do I personally think that's going to happen? No. But let's open our minds to the possibility.
Well, okay, sure.
But this is the interesting landscape we got going, and do I think this is a possibility? No. But the one thing that's keeping it burning in the back of my mind is Rock is rumored to do something at SummerSlam. The Rock fought Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and their issues have never been put to rest.
No. Weirdly.
So, if we're having this dispute about who the better man is to win WrestleMania, The Rock or John Cena, what if you have Brock Lesnar run in?
Lay them both out.
And lay them both out. And for the first time ever,
knockout.
There's no winner.
There's no winner. So that both guys are still, on equal planes.
Then you add the equation in at SummerSlam.
Right.
Three-way,
or just Rock. Maybe you could have, or if Brock is gonna face Rock at SummerSlam.
Sorry, go ahead.
You have Lesnar lay out both of them, but then put Cena over The Rock.
Then you can still argue the fact that you never beat me.
You never beat me, and then Cena can say, "I didn't cheat. I got attacked.
I didn't ask for this win.
I didn't ask for this win."
If we're talking about that, we can also talk about when Undertaker came to the UFC fight, and with Brock Lesnar.
Right, that's another rumor. The big rumor is that Brock Lesnar wants to face Taker next year at WrestleMania 29.
Right. So who's to say that he wouldn't interfere if he were to show up in the Hell in a Cell match?
Rip the door off the hinges and pull a Kane.
Lord knows he can do it.
That's just something interesting that I would bring up is the fact that Dana White was quoted as saying, when he was asked, is Brock Lesnar going to go to the WWE, Dana White was quoted as, If there's interest, we can work something out.
Sure, because it's only more money for him.
Retiring from UFC anyway?
Well, yeah, he's retired.
Yeah.
But he's still under contract. You
like
can't
appearance-wise and stuff like that.
And merchandising.
Yeah, but WWE greases the palms a bit, and it's all good.
Lesnar just appeared in WWE SmackDown vs. Raw, or WWE 12, whatever it's called.
Yeah, he was one of the unlockables.
Right. So the relationship is there again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let's I want to say, what are the odds of this actually happening?
Who knows? I want to say it's not very likely. But at the same time, that's something huge, and it's along the lines of huge things in the past that have come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And has surprised us.
But do you feel that there's some... I feel that a lot of people will be scratching their heads because maybe a lot of people don't remember that. Or maybe,
No, everybody remembers Brock Lesnar.
I mean, granted, the 8-year-olds, the 9-year-olds
sure.
aren't gonna,
I just feel like a lot of people will be scratching their head.
But the thing about it, you're kind of right with the demographic from the 15 to...
I feel like a lot of people will be like, he comes out and let's say he lays out both of them, or just one of them. A lot of people are going to be going, shenanigans, what's going on here? You know what I mean?
Well, I think people remember... I think most of the people that go to WrestleMania, like the fans that go to WrestleMania, it's not all just little kids, it's people who have been watching for a long time. And if you watch, you remember Brock.
But there should be some sort of hint beforehand, I feel. Possibly.
I don't think... No, see, I think that would ruin it.
I think it would ruin it too.
I'm a big proponent of...
Coming out of nowhere.
If you're going to do a surprise...
Do it.
Do a surprise.
Out of the blue.
Don't hint at me. Don't... do you remember Goldberg's debut in the WWE?
Yeah, sure.
On the pay-per-view, I think whatever pay-per-view it was, they ran the video package, and they said Goldberg is coming whenever. And no one expected him to show up the next night on Raw.
And he did. Which got a bigger response because...
Right.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think they did that because, okay, we're going to run something during the pay-per-view, this way our rating for Raw is really fucking high.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I wouldn't have done anything because I wouldn't have hinted at it at all because I think that then you get a bigger reaction.
Maybe Goldberg will come back.
Oh, God.
No.
So I just wanted to toss that Brock Lesnar.
It's not like it's completely...
It's not a bad idea.
It's not insane. It's not like it couldn't happen. It's very plausible. And I'd like to think it could happen. And I think from an entertainment standpoint, you've got...
Well, did John Cena ever settle?
And then you've got John Cena, and then you've got, the person who The Rock never settled anything with. And did Brock and Cena ever have?
That's what I'm saying. They did. I was just saying. Did they settle their differences? I mean, John Cena took his fucking move. Let's just point that out real quick.
Well, yeah, and then the right, and the whole thing was
F5 turned into the FU, and then when everything changed with turning it to PG, it became the attitude adjustment.
I still don't call it that.
Yeah.
as I told you the other day. It's still the FU to me.
But still, I mean, did they? I don't remember. Did they settle their dispute?
I don't.
Because they were. That was when he was still wearing the lock on his freaking neck.
But they must have because Lesnar went out fighting Goldberg.
Yeah.
So that program must have. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
I mean, I saw.
Wait, I do.
The Rock showed up. I saw some footage of The Rock showing up backstage after one of Brock Lesnar's fights. So. I mean, as far as a reality there, that they don't like each other, sure, it's not there, but I mean, as a business standpoint and whatnot.
I mean, you just gotta sort of accept the fact that these guys talk.
Sure.
Yeah.
Rock showed up Lesnar's fight. I'm sure the two of them got alone in a corner somewhere.
Yeah.
And talked about something.
And Rock said something offhandedly.
Mm-hmm.
Because The Rock is a smart businessman. Brock is a smart businessman. Same thing with Taker and Brock. I'm sure these guys...
As soon as I saw that footage with Taker and Brock, I was like, oh my god, how cool would it be for WrestleMania this year?
Right, there's a lot of people that say that was set up.
Yeah. You're just so happy to have the cameras there at the exact same time when they had the altercation.
They've maintained that it wasn't set up and it was
genuine.
But, yeah, I don't know if I was making a point or not.
You were making a point.
Yeah, you made an excellent point.
What is the realm of possibilities of this? What
I always love during pay-per-views.
What do people? I mean, personally, I go with what you say. The internet would explode.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the internet would.
I love when you have random people show up during pay-per-views.
In fact, if I watch this with you, Dave, and I just want you to just when that match starts, just sit on your lap with the laptop and just wait. And if it happens, all of a sudden it's just like, what's happening? Just can't blog fast enough.
Everything's gonna fall apart. Twitter's gonna
explode.
Overload.
So
that's how the apocalypse is gonna happen.
There you go.
It's gonna start with WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar's gonna bring on the apocalypse.
Well, right. I think it's possible to happen. I'd really like to see it happen. I hope it does. I really fucking hope it does. But again, every time I set my hopes pretty high, they're crushed. Shattered dreams.
All right, well, that was our WrestleMania 28 predictions and what else? Tips and tricks that we would do. I guess you could say that. Fantasy booking.
Are we talking about Monday Night Raw following?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. But in order to listen to Monday Night Raw, the user right now will have to click the screen to be redirected to the other video. So there you go. Thank you for listening to our WrestleMania 28
Hope you enjoyed it.
Podcast. And head over to the Monday Night Raw podcast and see what we would do on Monday Night Raw the following night to set the stages for the next year of WWE programming. Maybe we'll even do a fantasy WrestleMania 29 card.
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right, so...
You're Dave Cohen.
I'm Dave Cohen.
I'm Joe Winchell.
I'm Jason Ibsen.